Blah. Y'all already know what it is. Your boy Yaakov, what it do? The outlet to reality. The holders podcast in Vegas and Chicago. What up? This is the place where you want to hide from your drama or maybe hide from your baby mama. Just kidding. But anyways, fans, thank you for staying tuned. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Cha-ching. And today we have one of the best MC in the Midwest and everywhere. I'm not talking about like just the West Coast. I'm talking about everybody. This is MCB Rob, one of the best MCs I've ever met. Great people right here. And thank you, brother, for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much for having me. It's been my pleasure. I'm glad we finally get to link and do this.
Oh, yeah. This party.
Let's get it done.
So my fans out there, I want to share a little quick story on how we met. So pretty much it was my boy's birthday, Ben's 45th birthday. One of the
Shout out to
best.
Ben.
Oh yeah. Very humble, really nice guy. And he told me to come through and I went. And you're not gonna believe this. I was like, man, sometimes I could be a little shy with big crowds. I don't know why. It just, I'm just trying to blend in. And when I met, I'm not lying, fans. When I met MCB Rob, I think he was walking, and I shake his hand. I say, hey, how you doing? And he's like, man, let's go get some tacos. Tacos here. I was like, man, I'm down. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So we're getting tacos. We're laughing. We're chopping it up. We find out we have the same interest running. That's a big thing because he's trying to do this big Spartan. You said Spartan run?
Yep, sir. Yes, sir.
Right there. You see what I'm saying? He ain't playing. So I was like, man, that's so cool. And I like that when we wanted to get more tacos, he's like, hey, come on, let's more. Like he made me feel like I was part of the group. That's what I like.
It's love right there, fam. That's love because you is part of the group. We just hadn't met yet to be part of the group together. Oh, now he is. That's how we ended up linking doing this right here.
That's it. And one thing I like too is that throughout the day, like maybe halfway the party, they were playing some really good songs. And I was like, yo, bro, we got to dance to this. Like, this is my jam, and I pulled to the side, put my arm around him. We did like a 1-2 step, like R. Kelly. Step.
Going our grown man on. Get the grown man on.
That's it. Sometimes you gotta let the spirit free. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, baby. That was good times. That's how I knew we was gonna connect.
Oh man, much love, brother. And what was your first thought when you met me? Like real.
As soon as I met you, I was like, I need to talk to this dude right here because you match my energy, and that's very, very rare. Whenever you meet someone, and especially at like a house party. Everyone comes from different backgrounds, different people, but we're all there around the same person. We all actually have to know the same people, which means we're going to click somewhere. And the moment I started vibing with you, I was like, oh, this man knows what time it is. He wants to cut it up. He's got some jokes. He's got laughs. Yeah, you my people's right there. Especially once you threw in your background and education, it's a wrap.
Oh yeah. Right here, we got like that teaching. We got that teaching in us.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's rare that you got personality and education. Yeah, I got it. I got to pick your brain. So thank you for having me on.
Of course, anytime, man, anytime. So for my fans to get know a little bit more about you, MCB Rob, tell us a little bit about your background. If you're a local, like were you born and raised in Vegas, and what neighborhood and your hobbies?
Oh, man, right on. Well, I'm born and raised in Jacksonville Beach, Florida. I'm a far, far cry from there now. I've been out in Vegas for 15 years. I spent all my important years in Florida, I'd say from 1999 till about like 2003, 2004. I know I just dated myself. Those are my college years. That's when I was in Orlando, Florida. So if you're familiar, Jacksonville is up top in the L, aka South Georgia. Orlando is Central Florida, and I would say that's where I really grew up. My hobbies include getting after it. I like running, biking, snowboarding, skating, hiking. If it involves exercising, running, possibly dying, I'm all in. X Games shit. I'm not really that into like organized sports per se, but I'll sit down and watch football with the boys too. But in Las Vegas out here, the football starts around like 9 a.m. And my first couple of years out in Vegas, that's about what time I was getting home. So yeah, that just wasn't gonna fly. That wasn't gonna fly.
Wow. And what college did you graduate from?
Full Sail University. I went to school for audio production and sound engineering, which is kind of crazy because for me to be working in music and do what I've done, that degree had no factor whatsoever. Like if you ask me to remix a track right now, I'm going to call in one of my boys. Like I'm far removed from that degree. Let's just go ahead and air that out.
Wow. And were you the first generation of your family, of your
Yes,
parents to
sir.
graduate?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm an only child. My entire family all went to Florida State University. That's their alma mater. I wasn't even supposed to go to Full Sail University. I was supposed to go to Florida State as well, but I was a terrible student. So when I started going to the school, I realized it was like high school, which I wasn't a big fan of high school either. And one weekend, I was out with some friends and we were partying in Orlando, hanging out, and these guys were DJing. And I was like, "Oh, what song is this?" And they were like, "Oh, we made it. It's part of our project for school." Project for school? What do you mean a project for school where you're making records? This is back in 2003, 2004. They're like, "We go to Full Sail University up the street. We make music." That conversation and those boys changed my life. I went back to school. This is back in 2003. I went back to Florida State that weekend, promptly drew up all of my, I guess you'd say like resignation, I quit papers. And I transferred the following weekend. I was gone. I didn't tell my mom. I didn't tell no one else in my family. I was just out. So I got a job in Orlando and literally started funding my way through school. I didn't tell anyone for almost 6 months until I was like well established. And then I had to make that faithful phone call. "Hey, I know you've been getting some notices about Florida State. Well, where have you been?" "Well, I kind of transferred." "What do you mean you transferred?" "I transferred to Full Sail University." "To do what?" "I'm going to school to be a DJ." "What? You're going to wait, what?" "Yep, I'm going to school." "I'm not paying for it." "Well, that's fine. I've already got a job."
Wow. For just like that?
Just like that. "All right, I guess you got to figure it out. You a grown ass man." Click.
Wow.
2.5 years later, I'm mailing a degree to my mother and I'm on my way to Las Vegas.
Wow.
That is how my Vegas music whole push started. It was a complete accident. It was just because I didn't want to go to Florida State University, and hanging out with a bunch of guys that were making music in school seemed like a whole lot more my speed at the time.
Wow. And I gotta be honest, like, education is a very big thing because back in the days, black and brown, they couldn't study. So it's
Yeah,
like it's an honor for us to actually have a degree that no one can take away from us.
bingo. That's fact. When I got ready to go there was like two factors. My mother, I'm an only child. My mother never said no. In fact, she totally encouraged me. Her only drawback was she wasn't going to pay for it because based on my previous track record, I wasn't the best student. I had just dropped out of the college I was supposed to go to, my whole family went to. And now I'm just going to tell you, like, I'm going to go here and just do music instead. And I'm going to exceed at it. Like that's a page straight out of like the DJ, I'm going to make it producer playbook. Like, so I can understand her apprehension, but that same apprehension and determination is what made me successful once I got to Vegas. Because just like you said, that's a lot of pressure being first generation. So as reckless as it may have seemed at the time, I also knew there was a lot of pressure for me to succeed at the time. I couldn't just phone it in and be like, "Hey, this is what I'm going to do," without really knowing that, no, I'm going to put my all into this, because I'll be damned if I'm going to disappoint my mother and just be like, "Yo, I couldn't hack it," and I dropped out. And the exact same thing happened when I came to Vegas, because now I got to pay for this degree. It's because,
Oh,
you
snap.
just graduated, right? and she said she wasn't going to pay for it. So I had student loan debts I got to deal with and contend with now. I'm fresh out of college, and I just moved from Florida all the way across the United States, telling her like, hey, I've got this dream. I'm going to make it. I'm on my way to LA now. Like, that's my next move. So now it's almost like a strike two. All right, well, you got this degree. So I guess I got some faith in you, but now you're telling me you're moving to Las Vegas to pay for it. It's a little suspect. It's a little suspect, And that's kind of where my Vegas career kind of got its beginnings, Humble's beginnings.
Yeah, for sure. And for those who don't know, I want to ask you something that is very personal, right? So I learned that, from meeting you for the first time, that DJ Exodus was a big DJ here in Vegas. For those who don't know, he's also in XFM, the big radio station too. So the thing is, did you guys basically meet? Like, did somebody introduce you to him, and then you guys, clicked, or what happened? Tell us the story. Spill the beans.
Man.
Spill the beans.
Oh man. Well, that's a great question, man. Let's see here. Me and Exodus met. Exodus and I met back in 2012. All right, I'm going to jump a little bit. I've been in Vegas now. By the time I met Exodus, I had been in Vegas for right around like 6 years. All right. And when I came to Exodus, it was my second nightclub gig. All right. 6 years into Vegas, I'm starting to like meet some people and do some things. And I land at the Palms. And at the Palms, my job title is a mood director. Now, I'm going to talk to your audience for a minute, who's probably out there like, what in the fuck is a mood director? Right? I had just left Tao nightclub, all right, which was the number one nightclub at the time. And I was like trying to make a lateral move and like expand my skill set. So when my boys brings me over and he's like, hey, you're going to be my mood director. Your job is to hang out with the VIP tables and essentially create an experience with an experience. They've already got the table. They've got money. They've got girls. But how do you make that guest feel more special? Mm-hmm. Easy. Whenever you see sparklers and lights and those letters that come out with bottle service now that spells out someone's name, I designed those programs. Back in 2006, that wasn't happening. That's what they brought me to the Palms. That's what I did at Tao nightclub. And that's what they brought me to the Palms to do. But Exodus changed my entire game when I got there. Because I get there and I'm thinking my job is to get drunk with these tables. Whoop-de-whoop. Let me get you some girls. Let me put your name up. But one night I've got a full club and I run to the DJ booth. Yo, Exodus. Table 25. His name's Charlie. I need a birthday shout out. All right, Exodus, cool. Big birthday shout out to Charlie. Everyone makes some noise. Goes about his business. 5 minutes goes by. Exodus, I need a birthday shout out. Stephanie kind of looks at me side eyes. And I was like, all right, he gets it done. About 20 minutes goes by. I'm back in the booth again. Now, mind you, I have no concept of like how annoying this is for a DJ. I'm just coming up like, this is what I need. Get it done. This is what I need. So we go through this whole night like this. And at the end of the night, I'm like, hey, bro, how was the show? How was everything? He's like, it was good. Do you do shout outs? And I was like, nah. All right. Fast forward the next night. Come into work. Club's popping. I've got everything. Hey, Exodus is going to be a busy night. I probably got like 15 shout outs. And without skipping a beat, he reaches in his back pocket, hands me a microphone. I looked at that thing like I didn't know what the hell he was handing me, but I didn't want it. I was like, bruh, I don't talk on microphones. He's like, well, I don't do birthday shout outs all night long. So here you go. He's like, well, what am I supposed to do? He goes, you'll know. And I was like, no, I don't. He goes, well, just don't talk over the beat. I didn't even know what talking over the beat meant. I was like, you're playing music all night. That is the beat. What you talking about? All right. So the night kicks off. My first table comes up. It's probably around, like, to give you some scope, it's about 1:30 in the morning. Club is popping. Birthday shout out time. I run to the booth. Exodus, birthday shout out time. He's like, all right, got this. He starts playing 50 Cent. Go shawty, it's your birthday. Soon as the beat drops, go shawty, it's your Stephanie, happy birthday from Moon Nightclub. He looks at me like, the fuck was that? And I look at him, I'm like, I'm excited. And then I got another birthday right behind it. I was like, and birthday shout out to Mark. Make some noise. And he looks at me. This goes on all night. All night. I probably burned through about 10 of these. End of the night comes around. I'm like, Exodus was popping. Tonight was crazy. Da, 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 da. And he's like, I was like, how did I do? He's like, well, A, you talked over the beat all night long. B, who holds a microphone like this? Can't understand me. And he's like, see, now that you know what not to do, I'm going to show you how it's done on Tuesday, which is a slower night. He's like, so when you come up, I want you to hang out with me. And that was when Exodus took me under his wing and essentially taught me how to MC, how to space out my sets. There's a shout out comes on, go shawty, it's your birthday. And right when there's that break, he'd be like, Las Vegas, I want y'all to make some noise for this birthday shout out in the building. I watched this man create fire all night long from sparks. There might be 10 people in the entire nightclub. It feels like 100. He's got one of the biggest voices I've ever heard or seen. I'm like, what the fuck? That's not how I sounded the other night. These people aren't moving like that for me. So I'm taking notes all night long. I'm listening to his sets. I'm listening to, like, when he talks, but what is he saying? How is he saying it? How does he look when he's doing it? So by the time we come in on Thursday, because our club was open on Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So I just spent 6 hours. It's probably my 8th time at this club, but I just got this lesson from the man. Dang. So when I come in on Thursday, I'm gassed. I'm ready. I'm ready to go, but I'm nervous as fuck. I'm like, man, I don't know. Like, I've already screwed this up twice, right? He's already brought me in and given me a lesson. So now I feel like, all right, this is my big chance. I can't fuck this up. And we go in and he's like, you ready? Tonight's all on you, son. And we had a busy night. I'm like, all right. He's like, you look a little nervous. And I was like, well, you know, he's like, here, let me help you out one time. And he orders us 2, what did he get us that night? I want to say we probably did like either like 2 Jaeger bombs or like 2 cherry bombs, but something along those lines. And I had never drank and like ripped a shot and then planned on like executing anything other than like doing more shots and getting a table to buy a bottle. And that night we ripped that shot. They opened the doors, and I mean, the floodgates come in. Within 20 minutes, it's time for me to do my thing. I look at him, he looks at me, he's like, you got this. And he gives me like a layup song. It might have been a Hardwell or something, but something that had this nice like building beat. And he looks at me, he's like, gives me a countdown. And as soon as he gave it, I don't know if it was the shot. I don't know if it was the lesson from him previously. I don't know if it was me taking everything I'd seen other DJs do before. But when he said go, I grabbed that microphone and I was like, Las Vegas, how we fucking feeling? Make some noise. My life changed from that moment on. Whoa. That shout out and that night was the beginning of Moon Awesome, me and Exodus fucking destroying the Palms and setting the stage for me taking over and going on tour for about the next 15 years. Like, that night was the night that put me in my zone, where now I'm running tables. Now I'm on the microphone. So now I'm not only doing a bottle presentation, but I'm in the DJ booth. I got the fucking girls. I got the DJ. Fucking, oh, we got Black Eyed Peas in. I'm on stage with the Black Eyed Peas. Like, who the fuck is this guy? I thought he was just the bottle guy. Nah, he's the mood director. He's the creative. He's the coolest guy in the building next to the DJ and the owner. You should meet him. And that set the stage. Exodus changed my life with that countdown and letting me do the one thing that no other DJ in the city would have done at that time, and you'd be hard pressed to find now. He gave me room and opportunity to screw up and to learn, and then teach me where I screwed up, but how to be better. And then on top of that, I learned by watching him. So if I was like a little off, I could pick up his game. I could pick up what he was doing. So I learned from him, and learning from him, man, I owe that man everything, because from the Palms, that's how I ended up at Hakkasan nightclub. Whoa.
That's a big club. That's like the.
And I don't know if your audience knows about Hakkasan. Do you know about Hakkasan?
I'm gonna be honest. Can I share some? I've never been to Hakkasan. I've walked by it. You know what I'm saying? I haven't had a chance to get in because I'm like, I don't know anybody there. So I was like, I'm like the little kid from Arthur. Every day I'm walking down the street, and I said, hey, there's Hakkasan by me. You know what I'm saying? And I just walk by because the thing is, like, I'm a big club person. I'm big. I like to go out. I like to dance. But I put to that club. I always wanted to, you know. But continue on, my guy. But that's all I wanted to share.
Oh man, no. So basically, that was basically from 2012 to 2013. That might have seemed like a lot of story, but I was only at the Palms for 1 year. I was actually, when I got to the Palms, it was my buffer period because I had already been recruited for Hakkasan. The club was just being built. So like I was kind of in like this little limbo period. And when I got over like at the Palms, I was supposed to be a layup job. I was going to be there, party with some tables, do my thing. And then I was going to go over and be the creative director for Hakkasan. But instead, the Palms changed my life. I'm on the microphone. I'm doing this, and this. So by the time Hakkasan called me up, I wasn't quite sure if I was going to go. And once again, Exodus, being the man that he was, I was able to like ask him like, yo, bro, like we've got this thing going on here. What do you think I should do? And without skipping a beat, he goes, you've been recruited by the #1 biggest nightclub, not in just Las Vegas, not in just the United States, but about the world. Ended up being #1 nightclub in the world 3 back-to-back years in Beatport magazine. We're talking like I'm stepping into the big leagues. And when I get there, now I've just came off of Tao nightclub and the Palms. I went from being a mood director to now I've got my MC certification underneath me. And now I'm moving on to the biggest nightclub in the fucking world. But when they bring me on, they've got the biggest DJs in the world. So they don't need another MC. They got fucking Hardwell. They got Tiesto. They got Aoki. They got Afrojack. They got Calvin Harris. They got Laidback Luke. You got Cruella. You name them, we got them. So now they don't really need me on the microphone. They need me selling tables. And that is where I got the business aspect of the business. And this is all before I'm touring, but now I'm meeting the tour managers. Now I'm seeing what's going on behind the scenes. Now I'm understanding how they have these $100,000 DJs every night with these $50,000 and $100,000 tables. And I'm understanding that business aspect. But all the DJs that are coming through there, they've been seeing me for the past 8 years now in Vegas, from my days at Tao, from my time at the Palms. These same DJs are coming in town, they're partying, and they're at the Palms, and they see me on the microphone. 2 years ago, when they saw me at Tao, I was just like either their busser or I was the mood director. So all these very same DJs, now they've seen me progress. So by the time I'm over at Hakkasan and I'm doing my thing, now I'm interacting with these DJs, I'm interacting with their teams, but we're in a completely different space now because they've seen how I've grown up, how I've evolved. And a lot of the times when you've got a table spending $250,000, $300,000, and they want a shout out, and you got Calvin Harris beating the brakes off a place at 2 a.m. That's a really fine request to be like, hey, I need a birthday shout out for this person. You got to finesse that, right? So when they bring me in, I'm that intermediary, like, all right, can we get this done? How do we go about doing this where everyone's going to be happy? And that's a role that was very hard to be filled, that I was uniquely suited to get done.
Wow.
You know, and like that's something that I could not have done without all of my previous years of small jobs that had led to me with this one big job. So now I'm still like an MC, I'm still a mood director, and I'm doing all this creative, but I'm not quite at the level where I want to be now, because the level I thought I wanted to be in is moved. You know, like Exodus showed me a little peek and like, man, you could be doing all of this. So when I got to Hakkasan, it was like, I don't want to just do these tables. I'm an MC now. Like, man, this crowd's flat right now. Like, let's pick up this pace. So I did that for a good year and a half while I was at Hakkasan. I opened up that nightclub, and from 2013 to 2015 and a half, I was doing that, and I'm happy. I'm making great money. I'm meeting everyone, and I'm that guy. You go through my Instagram, and it's celebrity star studded. But then I had a freak cryo accident. You know what cryo is, like in the nightclub? All the white smoke that like cools down the club and makes it look all cool. I had one of those tanks explode in my hand. This hand right here was pale white, swollen out to here, and I was in the hospital for a week, hanging out. It's like this. And I didn't know what I was going to do. This is back in 2015 and a half. All right. So one Sunday night, I'm working. I'm actually changing one of those tanks in the DJ booth, which is where you always see the smoke come from. And basically the nozzle was defective, and it essentially just went off in my hand. Kind of like a hot soda exploding, except for it was nitrous. Ooh. So it fucked up my hand the whole nine, and I'm in the hospital for about like a week and a half. And during that week and a half, I'm sitting there and I'm just like thinking to myself, like, man, this fucking sucks. I don't really, like, I'm out of the game. But one of my boys comes through. His name is DJ Stellar, David Garcia. And DJ Stellar comes through to visit me that week. And he's like, hey, bro, like, man, it really sucks. You know, sorry about your hand. He's like, I'm not going to lie. I'm kind of here on business. All right. Now, what business do you want to talk about? My tour manager is moving to Australia, and I'm going to need someone to fill in. What do you think? And I was like, a tour manager. And I was like, I don't know what a tour manager, like, I don't know that part of the business. I'm friends with tour managers. I don't know how to do it. And this is another example of someone believing in me a little bit more than I believed in myself, much like Exodus did. He goes, with everything you've done, you manage a small team already, which is what I had been doing for about the past 8 years. And he's like, and you're an MC. So I know, like, if I need you in that regard, you can do it. He goes, I need someone with your organizational skills and your people skills. And if I need, like, you on a microphone or something, I can get that done too. But basically, I just need tour manager. So I'm sitting there with a swollen hand. I'm going to be out of work for the next month and a half. I can't work in the nightclub. And I was like, well, all right, I don't want to just sit around for a month and a half. Why not? So I was like, I get out of the hospital after 2 weeks and I go on tour with DJ Stellar. And we just do a short tour. And this was in September of 2015. So you have a little timeline. And it was during his birthday month. And I had no idea what I was signing up for. I don't know if you're friends with any, like, some crazy DJs, or if you have some crazy friends, but you know, when it's birthday time, some people like to have a birthday party. Some people like to party for, you know, a week. Some people are going to do like, yo, I'm going to party here, here, and here. And then you got some DJs. DJs party all month.
Oh, man.
All month. Because every weekend for that month, they're going to someplace new. And that nightclub is going to be like, yo, it's so-and-so's birthday. That's their pitch. So when DJ Stellar told me, yo, I need a tour manager and you're going to come out with me and we're just going to do this little LA tour. We got 6 dates there and 2 in Chicago. I'm like, dope. I've never been to Chicago. I've never been out in LA, like in this level. Man, I'm excited. And then I get into the nuts and bolts and I was like, what in the hell is this? We walk into these nightclubs and I got to deal with writers. I got to deal with sound checks. I've got to do all these things I'm used to seeing other people do. So essentially what I'm doing is just copying what I've seen all these tour managers do from all of my previous years. And I'm kind of figuring it out on the fly. And I make it through this hell month, as I would like to call it, because we're talking 5 days a week for 4.5 weeks in a row. We're in a different nightclub every night. And if we're not in a nightclub, we're at a house party. We're hanging out. We're shaking. We're moving. We're doing this. And I'm learning. I don't realize I'm learning at the time, but I'm learning. I'm taking little notes. Oh, that's how this works. Oh, that's how this works. Oh, I see. I'm watching. I'm observing. And then Chicago happens. And this is where MCB Rob, I would definitely say, is born.
Ooh.
Because when we get in Chicago, and now we're talking at the end of September, this is actually right around like September 29th, we are playing at this place called Evil Olive. And for y'all that don't know, and for y'all that do know, out in the Chicago area, yeah, Evil Olive on a Monday night is like Las Vegas on a Saturday night. The name of this party is called Porn and Chicken.
Oh, I know porn and chicken. That's crazy.
Bruh, I'm at Porn and Chicken. Never been before. Monday night, places, balls to the wall. It's packed out. I'll leave the other details for, another story later, but let's just leave that Porn and Chicken. And Stellar, without skipping a beat, he goes, hey, you used to MC with Kai, right? Exodus. It's like, yeah, bro, I got this. He's like, I need you to bring it tonight. There's like 4 talent buyers in Las Vegas. There's this new nightclub opening up called Light Nightclub. There's talent buyers here. I want to be working at that club. What's good? Done deal. Say less. As soon as he gets on that stage, Chicago, I want y'all to make some noise for the international superstar. And I proceed to set him up like he just got off of the Golden Globes with Diddy and Travis Barker beating the drums. Man, you couldn't tell us shit. We proceed to play for 3 hours. I'm on the mic. He's dropping beats. Porno in the back, chicken flying, titties out, shots, everything. We are doing the damn thing. By the time we get done with that set, I look at him, he looks at me, he's like, you're not going back to Hakkasan. Nah, that's it. I looked at him and I was like, bro, I don't think you can afford me. He goes, do you really want to go back to Hakkasan? I was like, not really. He goes, do you want to do this for a while? I was like, yeah. He goes, we'll talk business when we get back. I got on that plane. That was the last time I played at Hakkasan.
Wow. Brother,
just like that.
Dude, this is crazy. Look, I got to tell you this. So I'm actually born and raised from Chicago.
No, I didn't know this.
Yeah. So that's
Get
my
out of
hometown.
here.
Yeah, that's my hometown. So when I heard that, I was like, oh, Steph, he went to Chicago. Now, real quick, I'm going to pick at your brain. Chicago, did you get to try their food?
Yeah, baby.
What was your favorite meal that you had? Like, did you have ribs? Did you have tacos? What did you have?
All right. Well, I've had a few things. First of all, don't judge me when I say it.
Okay.
Portillos, brother. Portillos.
You almost killed me right here. You almost killed me.
Oh, all right. Portillos, because we don't have it out here in Vegas, that is my number one. Like, I have to go there every time I'm in Chicago spot. All of my peeps in Chicago is like, that place is rubbish just for the tourists. But I fucking love it. Everywhere else I've ate there, I can't remember because we always end up in like the fucking hood. Like when I say the hood, they're like, "Oh, you want to get some ribs? You want to get some elote? Oh, we got to go down here, son." And they take me to this place where I've never been before, where you're gonna get a paper plate in a box, shut down. You can't even shut the box. Here you go. Like that's how they take me down.
Wow. No,
So like every good spot I've ate there, I can't remember the name of because it'll literally be like the spot in the cut. You know, like the locals only spot. The only spot that like rings a bell is Portillo's.
yeah. No, I give you credit. That's one of the best restaurants, hands down. I love their food. I'm with you right there. One thing I could say is that apples in Chicago is better than Vegas. I'm gonna be honest.
Real.
Yeah, here's the crazy part. You ready?
Yeah.
You're talking to a guy who's half Mexican, so am I half? I can half explain it. So here's the thing: the tacos there, and I've been to the best taco spots in Vegas. Tacos de Gordo, Tacos de Sabor, the one in Sahara Rainbow. The problem with the steak, I'm gonna be honest, is too thick. Too thick. Steak taco, carne asada. They're supposed to chop it up real nice and small. Give you two tortillas in the bottom, so that way you can make another taco with it.
Is that why there's always two?
There's always two, yeah, because they
I've
want
always
you.
wondered why you give me two.
Yeah, because they want you to make another one. You know what I'm saying? They're looking out. But with the thick tacos, I can't do it, and so I'm like, yo, this is messed up. So when I was just so sad. And here's another thing too: the taste is not the same. It's not. A lot of times in back in Chicago, we actually, when we season it, we put beer in it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I know what time
it is. Yeah, you know, we mix it. You know what I'm saying? We're about to turn it up. And that's what I miss. So, and here's the thing too: in the south side of Chicago, which is in the hood, usually tacos you can get for like $1 or 60 cents.
Yeah, cheap, under $1.
That's a good deal.
Handful. Yeah, that's the shit.
You know what I'm saying?
That's where it's at.
So you can't go wrong. Here's another thing: I go there almost every 3 months because I miss the food. There's a spot I recommend. It's called Smoke Barbecue. It's spelled with SMOQUE.
I've heard about that spot.
Okay, it's the best spot. I'm not lying. The crazy part is after the Chicago Bears play their game, they reserve the whole place. No one can get in, just for the team to eat.
It's that good.
That's how good. And they have a TV show program on how they make the barbecue.
That's how you know it's dank.
Oh yeah.
That shit's so good. We're gonna put it on TV.
You have to. Now I'm gonna tell you a funny story. So one of my guys, my uncle came to visit. He's not my blood, but I look him up. So I didn't grow up with a father. He became what I look up as a father, somebody who I could say I could go to. And he's Middle Eastern and he loves barbecue. So we go in. He's Muslim, so you know he can't eat pork, right? So I order my brisket and he orders ribs. Now, some parts in New Jersey, ribs they come in beef, but he didn't know that this place is all pork.
All right.
So I told him, bro,
can't do that, Muslim.
Yeah,
right. Dig on swine.
Right, they can't. Brother, just get brisket like me. No, I know. You know what I'm saying? He told me, no, I know. So he orders the ribs, right? I told, brother. He's eating it. Like the bowl is falling off. That's how you know the ribs good. And then he told me something's not right with the food. You know what I'm saying? That's it. And the funny that day, the owner was there, and he's Jewish. And I introduced the owner to my friend, my uncle, right? And he goes, "What's this?" And he tells the owner, "What's this?" And the owner goes, "It's our delicious pork ribs." You know what I'm saying? My guy, My guy is like 45 years old. Never in his life he ate pork, okay? He goes crazy. Like his face turns red. I can't believe it. It's a shame. He goes to the bathroom, bro. He's throwing up everything.
I knew it. I knew it.
He couldn't help it. And I'm laughing in my brisket. I said, bro, I told you. And the owner felt so bad. He came to our table a few times. He's like, look, is there anything we can do? He did help us out. Because he felt bad. And then my uncle told him, like, when he came out of the bathroom, he was still upset. He's like, look, you're supposed to be my cousin and you messed up. You know what I'm saying? He literally told him with his strong accent, my uncle. He said, you messed up. You know what I'm saying? We're supposed to look out. You know what I'm saying? Why pork? Why pork? And I'm laughing. And the cousin and the owner, because he's Jewish, right? He goes, I'm sorry, cuz. You know what I'm saying? He goes, I'm sorry, cuz. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It was a funny moment, and I'll never forget because, you know, there's so many fights going on with, you know, Israel and Palestine, but it's nice to see two different cultures that they came together and like they pretty much hugged it out. They didn't hug, but they found a way to let it out, vent, and then they were there for each other. So it worked out. I love that. But I never forget this. So now every time he comes to visit me, sometimes I say, hey, are you feeling barbecue? Because you stupid. You know
you stupid.
Yeah.
Why you play too much?
Right. But yeah, man, it was a good time, good experience. I definitely gotta take you there, brother. It's
bro. I like to eat. I like to bond over some food. That's my jam.
Right?
Jam.
So I got a big trivia question I want to ask you. I'm gonna pick at your brain a little bit. You ready for this?
Yeah, sure.
So let's imagine there's a fire in the house. What? There's a fire in the house.
All right.
And you only have two people you could save. You have either your partner, the person you love, who you're about to marry, or your kid. Now, your kid's about 7 or 8 years old. I'm not going to put baby because, of course, the baby can't move. So I'm going to say 7 to 8. He can walk. He can move around. Who would you save in last minute? You only have one person you could save. Who would it be and why? It's $1 million question.
Well, yeah, I got it. I had to think about my answer because I had my knee-jerk answer. And I wanted to check myself and make sure that was the real answer I wanted to deliver. I'm saving the child. And I'm going to save the child because they have their entire lives ahead of them. Whereas my significant others probably already put in their 35 to 40 years. And when I get out of there and I look at my significant other, something that we created together, and she looks at me, she's going to say the exact same thing. You should have saved blank. Like, because no one wants to go on without their son or without their daughter. You know what I'm saying? Like we all know, like children are supposed to, you know, as a parent, you should never outlive your child. So I have to attach that same mentality to that question. But damn, that's a tricky question. Like, bruh, outlet to reality. I'm sitting here talking about how I was an MC, got my ass kicked on a tour for a month, quit a job, drinking Fireball, pouring in chicken, and then you hit me with save a child or save your wife. Bruh. Got me with that one.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. No, you had a good answer. I like that. So what I heard different perspective, a lot of people say this. I would actually save my partner, not my child, because I can create another one.
Ooh.
That's a good one.
Ooh, yeah.
But here's my thing. As a parent, you are the protector of your seed.
Yeah.
It's just an instinct that you have inside, you know, and mother has it. I feel like mothers, they have it more because they had the baby in their tummy. And, you know, it's a different perspective. But my thing too is, let's say you do say partner, right? And the kid actually survives. He would say, my dad didn't come save me. And that will haunt him for the rest of his life.
Facts. You are correct.
So you have to think, would you rather have your kids suffer for a long term? Like that's a traumatic right there, you know? Also, I feel like if you got a chance, of course, I'm for me, I'm gonna be like, look, partner, I gotta put you away.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go save my person. Because here's the thing, my kid is my blood.
Facts.
Right?
Facts.
If my partner, God forbid, but if my partner leaves me, they have to leave if they want. But anytime there's a family matter, someone pass away, my blood will be there to bury the dead.
Yep, you are correct. You are correct. That's an introspective question. That's like a really good question. It's got layers because there's no wrong answer, but your answer carries some weight. You have to give it some thought. Yeah, I like that. That's heavy. That's your education background coming in right there.
You know, I got a little psychology.
Yeah, you came in there. You're stepping into my current career. Wow, I like that.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. Yeah, it's something to think about. I feel like a lot of young people. See, here's the thing: a lot of young people, they feel like their significant other, their partner, whoever, is what they. Without them, they're not complete. I don't agree with that. Nobody can complete, and I'll tell you why. Even though they say, "Oh, that's my half," no, I'm gonna break it down. They are part of your happiness. The moment you put them complete, like they complete me, you put them in that big pedestal, you realize they're not perfect and they will fall.
Absolutely.
So why do the damage and put them so high if they're just like you? They're not perfect.
Facts.
And here's the thing: a lot of young people, I want to share this really strong. I feel like before you settle down with anybody, I 100% feel that every young person, one time in their life, they have to live in their own at least a year or 6 months. And the reason why is because you can realize who you really are. You can see how it is to be hungry and not have money come in your wallet. And you can't even ask people for money because you're screwed. You got nowhere to go.
Yep.
That is the biggest test for anybody to face. You can learn the quietness. Right now, it's quiet. Can you live with that? For some people, it's peace. Like I learned that I actually love the quietness. When I come home, I don't hear nothing. And I get a lot of couples that come in my crib and they're like, oh, I wish I can live like this. They literally told me, how do you sleep? Like wow, it's so quiet. Like they literally, I said, let me give you some time. I'm gonna go get some food, but take your time.
Enjoy this.
Yeah, because it's only temporary. And it is true. Sometimes a lot of things can distract you, right? That's why a lot of people, they recommend to meditate, either read a book, do a run, because you know what I'm saying?
Yes, absolutely.
No, but that's what I was gonna say. What's your input about that? Living on your own.
Not only am I a huge proponent of that, like being an only child, I grew up essentially living on my own. That's something like, not only do I think it's very introspective when you're on your own, but it also gives you a lot of time to figure out how you tick internally, which helps how you interact with other people. When you have more time to understand yourself, like the famous quote, know thyself. When you're taking the time to like meditate and like quiet the mind and go for runs and things like that, it helps how you interact with those around you better because you better understand yourself. There's a reason why people have these sudden epiphanies when they're in the shower. They don't realize that more often than not, the average person, that's the most quiet their day is going to be. Because the moment they feel any sense of I'm bored or tension, the first thing they do is you grab a phone, you're distracted, or you have family. So you're constantly interacting with your kids or your significant other. So when you take that shower, essentially that's probably going to be the most quiet your life's going to be all day long. And that's why people have some crazy shower thoughts and these shower epiphanies. So when you take someone that has like a busy life and then you're able to show them like, hey, you ever try meditating, especially if they're feeling anxious, or they have those kind of thoughts, there's a reason why they tend to gravitate towards it. And it's because you realize that how big of a factor that can be that's missing in your life. If you've never lived on your own, and you don't meditate or run or take those kind of times to be in your own space, you don't understand how effective and how powerful it can really be. But the moment you do, like when you go into your apartment, you get that little taste and someone talks to you about it, you kind of get the itch. You kind of get a little curious, like, I kind of need to know what he's talking about there. Or you're going to start taking longer showers.
Right.
One or the other.
No, it's true. It's true. I think I was thinking about that yesterday too. I was like, man, I can't believe I'm on my own. Got no family out here. I barely have any friends. I'm gonna be honest. You're honest. Friends, I consider a friend now during this podcast, and I feel like, in a way, if something were to happen to my family, I'm just saying, God forbid, it will hurt me, but not so much. Whereas if I live with them day by day, waking up, have them part of my, it would definitely affect my mental everything, because I on them for my routine of my daily life. So I think what we have, you and I being on our own, I'm also a only child, so I can relate to you, brother.
Bro,
That's one thing. Like, I think one of the hardest thing was for me was I had one of my best friends. He passed away last year from COVID. One of my closest, and I cried a lot, dude. I really don't cry, but man, I was just tearing up. And the thing is, he called me every day, and so automatically my body wanted to call him after he died, because I had that routine, like,
yeah,
he's supposed to call me this time, I'm gonna call him up. And the reason why he called me so much is because, a little backstory, he lived in a nursing home. He had a stroke. None of his family to see him, and his family lived in the same block of the nursing home. He had, every time was his birthday, holiday, he never had nobody to support him, like, or to be there for him. And I was the only one who's not even his family. One of the few people that he considered like family. I would take him to his doctor appointment. I would take him to, when his birthday came up, I took him to Navy Pier. He was on the wheelchair walk. He kind of walks, but mostly it's easier for him to move around with the wheelchair. And I've never, like, for me, I don't know, in life, like, some people believe in this, but I kind of believe like past lives.
Absolutely.
I think he was my son in the other life, because when he would get in trouble at the nursing home, he's funny, but he used to, like, be the trouble person in there. Like, you the nurse. He's like, man, you ugly, get away from me. And I start laughing. I can't help it. And it's funny because they'll come to me, the nurses, they're like, go talk to him. He doesn't listen to us. I said, I got you. I was like, come here. And he goes, what's up? Because
Yeah.
I was like, look, man, I don't know what you said, but you gotta change that. He said, man, she got me mad. I told her applesauce and she gave me cranberry. I said, look, bro, if it makes you feel better, I'll get you applesauce, but don't curse her out. She's with every day, man. He's like, I know, but I was mad. I said, I know you were mad. So that kind of stuff, I feel like was like a father-son relationship because I knew how to help him get that, uh, basically bring him back to reality and to help him get back. Okay, I messed up. I was angry. I gotta go apologize. Because I always tell him you can't break bridges. These are the people that you have to deal with every day. And the nurses will come back to me and say, "Wow, what did you do? Like, what did to make him like change his attitude?" And I said, "You have to find you in a way you don't want to say what he did wrong. You kind of want to ask questions for him to figure it out on what he did wrong."
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. You got to show, not tell all the time.
Right?
Yeah.
Because I feel like that way, not only are you paying attention to what he's saying, you're making him realize. He's like, oh man, I didn't know I did that. You know what I'm saying? That's a secret. It goes back to one interactions, right? Which you do a lot too at work.
Yes.
You gotta um find ways, and sometimes it may not be the same technique, but find different strategies into coming in the same like common ground, like what we can do to fix it, right? You gotta
Absolutely.
find ways. You know what I'm
Yeah. You
saying?
have to meet someone where they're at in order to solve the solution. Like, I don't care what the problem is. It's more like, can we both agree there's a problem here? How do we move forward from it? Simple as that.
Yeah,
Simple as that.
exactly.
Yep.
So, and that's why I say, like, I like in my past life, he was my son, straight
That's
up.
special. That's special.
So
That's unique.
he had a part of me right here, like my heart. Like it's crazy. He was only able to use three fingers. His other fingers and his other hand couldn't move
From the stroke.
from the stroke. But look at this. Look how bright this guy is. He was only, I think he was 45 or 50 that he passed away. But with his three fingers, he typed an entire book, 600 pages, from using his just finger on the tablet.
That's powerful.
Tell me, is that like intentional?
That's powerful. That's serious.
So if someone can do that, anything's possible. From that, anything's possible.
Would you say you learned from him?
Oh yeah. So he was I consider him as a spiritual teacher. So every time I used to I come in with problems I have, like I'll be dating somebody and I'll be like, hey, look, I gotta say something. What you think about this? And he'll hear me out. And he'd be like, all right, man, you want me to be honest? I'll give you the easy answer. I was like, because I'll give you the easy answer. You're doing everything great. But the real answer, I'm gonna tell you, and he told me, like, hey, look, I think you gotta find somebody else. I don't think she's for you. I said, why? I just feel like you need somebody who's kind of in your level. You gotta have somebody. Can't have somebody don't have a job. What's the point? He'd be straight up like that. And I like that he gave me books to read just to pick at my brain. So I'll read a book, right? He'll give me, and I'll come like that same week, and he'll actually quiz me on that book. He'd be like, "All right, so what you get from this character? What he said?" I was like, "Damn, you got me with that, man." I'm be honest. Well, this is my, I give him my perspective, my theory, and he goes, "Okay, all right. Let me ask you something. He'll really pick on my brain, and because that's all he did was read, and I like that because when you read a book and you finish it, tell the whole world that you read a book, but you kind of tell them like the story and stuff like that. But when you have somebody that actually read it too and they debate with you, I think you learn more.
I totally agree. I absolutely agree. It forces you to recall it forces you to recall what you just read. And that forces you to comprehend and understand it better because now you have to explain it and you have to explain your perspective and your view on it. Because, I mean, we know from the internet, we can't even agree if a dress is pink or if it's gold. More or less, when you read a really good book and someone who's emotion or intellectually challenging, they're going to ask you your perspective on it, but they're going to learn from you as much as you're going to learn from them on why they see something a completely different way than you see it, or the exact same way where you guys can like come together. Like that's a really big deal. One of my favorite questions to ask someone when I meet them, depending on the setting, is, "Oh, what are you reading?" or "What have you read lately?" or "What's your favorite book?" Like you'll notice a lot of people, like if you're sitting around in a kitchen and some kind of like bullshit party, someone's going to be talking about some new Netflix show, something they saw, or a TikTok video or something. But if you really want to get to like know someone, you throw that curveball at them, because just asking them, like, "Hey, what's your favorite book you've read this month?" You're either going to get "Oh my God, I haven't read in forever," and that's going to open up one path of dialogue. Or you're going to get a fucking curveball and they're going to be like, "Oh, I just banged out the Iliad," and you're going to find out they study Stoicism. And you have no idea because she's a cocktail waitress with her tits out. No.
Oh, man. No, that's a good question. I like that.
Yeah. But as you're talking about like reading books, that's something, like I said, given context, I don't go around just throwing that question out there, everyone, like trying to berate someone. But when you're really speaking with someone and you're on a level, I think it's a powerful question to get to know someone. And even more so if you guys have read the same book or you're in the same subjects, because you really get to know a lot about someone by what they read and what they're into and their views on certain things like that.
Ooh, that's good. That's
Yeah.
good, brother. I like that. I like that. That's really deep. I ain't gonna lie. Oh, man. And to be honest, really, depending what book they read, like you're absolutely right, it does reflect on their own reality in a way. Because if they read a
Absolutely.
book that's about, I say, a depressed kid that really hates the world, it's a book about that. His
Yeah.
perspective might be a B how he
Yeah, could be
feels.
depressed, could be this. Absolutely. But when you read someone that likes to study, like history, or some people that like to study, entertainment, even like I'm friends with some girls that constantly read like murder mysteries. And I'm like, "Why do you read murder mysteries?" And then I come to find out, like, well, I've always wanted to be like a forensic psychologist or something like that. But I teach third grade because I like doing this too. But secretly, I like this. And that's their form of escape, like that's their other reality. I'm like, man, that's really cool because you'd never see that coming. I know some people that really like to study like other languages, and you're like, "But you sell insurance." And I'm like, "Yeah, but I like to be well rounded and I like to learn these other things." Like books are paths into other people's lives that you get to immerse yourself into. Television is kind of a form of escapism. You're entertained, you're watching, you're kind of like mindless. But there's a lot going on when you're reading words. You're reading, so you're consciously processing, you're taking in the thoughts, but you're also overlaying your life experiences over whatever you're reading. No matter what it is, you're applying it to you. And whenever you get to have a conversation with someone about that book, like you and you and your teacher, that gives you an opportunity to learn. You might even come away from that conversation knowing a little bit more about what you just read, just because of the conversation you had explaining it, or a different perspective on what you just read, because, "Oh, I never even saw it like that." So I think that's really cool. You said you learned from him. Would you say you had several teachers?
Oh yeah. So me growing up, that's a great question. You hit me with the right hook. You know what I'm saying? So me growing up, I got into a lot of fights as a young kid and all the way to high school. And I was trying to I needed it's weird. My all my friends that were older, they were about 10 or 15 years older than me. And I was a young cat, like 10, 11. My best friend, you're not gonna believe he was already 29 or 32. And he had that gift of playing the music. He actually played for the opera back in Chicago. So he was top notch. We'll learn from him, and I would try to take whatever knowledge he told me. You want to be a comedian? Because I told him I want to be a comedian. Like I'm funny. And my friend, like a cousin to me, he's a funny guy, but he's like, I'm gonna teach you the secret in comedy. I said, all right, what's the secret? I mean, like, I'm ready. He's like, I want you to watch The Mask from Jim Carrey, Dumb and Dumber, great movie. Um, Welcome to America, Eddie Murphy. Like he gave me the classics.
Yeah. Goats.
And he said, I want you to study how they project their voice and how they tell a story. Just pay attention how they do it in the scenes. I was like, all right, man. I'm a young cat. I watched those movies so much, I memorized the lines. He's like, all right, you memorized it, but what did you get out of it, man? See, I ain't. See, that's where you got me right there, man. Because I could just tell you what. So he pushed me. It helped me so much that when I did projects for schools, like presentations, I wasn't scared because he would make me tell a story. He was like, I want a story. I'm gonna sit down, pretend my audience. I want you to do it. I want to hear it. I'll tell you if it ain't funny, it ain't funny. I ain't gonna laugh. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
I
And
love it.
he'll have his cold beer. He'll have his cold beer, and he'll hear it. And I was like, man. And then his brother, who was older, I think was like 35. He was funnier. So I got to hear two comedians how they tell stories, and I and so that was one perspective of like the men that I look up to that really inspire me. I had other people too that also was a big impact in my life that I would go to. There was another guy, his name was Herb Timer. I shared a little bit about him in my couple episodes on the podcast. Older gentleman as well. He was like about, I say, 40 something years old. And he became not only my spiritual leader, but he was also my tutor for science, for physics, chemistry, and biology. I was failing in high school, so my mom told him if he could tutor me, he's like, yeah, I'll be down, and he never charged me or my mom for tutoring. And my mom is like, why you don't want me to accept my money, right? And he said, because David has an old soul. That's what he said. The stuff that David asked, like the young people don't think like that. I like it. I really do. And my mom was shocked. And he wasn't the only one. There was another guy I looked up. The name was Yaniv O's. I think that was something like that. I forgot his last name. I think that's how I say it. Basically, he used to be a very big, successful, wealthy person, and life just fell apart. He had a tough life. And I met him, and he became a good friend of mine. And like kind of like a mentor, you could say. And one day he needed a ride. I think his car broke down or something. He asked my mom if he that we could pick him up and just take him to the place he needed to go. And we picked and my mom and he said to my mom, same thing like my other guy that I look up to. He said, David has a whole soul. That's what he said, straight up. And here's the thing too. I feel like I get along more with older people. I don't really get along with people my age. The reason why, because a lot of young people that I've met, right? They didn't know what they want to do in life. They they're so caught up with the I gotta be popular. I gotta fit in the trend, right? They're a follower. They're a follower. I can't roll with the follower. I would like people that are like different. They're like the outcast. I don't know why. I
Yeah,
like it. I like it.
absolutely. Absolutely.
So that answer, I don't know if that answer, but what about you?
Absolutely.
What would tell me a little?
Absolutely. I believe, no, I love that answer. I believe I'm a forever student. I'm even more of a forever student as I've gotten older now and like transitioned into like a newer career. I look back and I realize everywhere I've gotten in life is because I've never been afraid to ask those questions. And all of my mentors along the way are how I've gotten everywhere. At the time when I worked at Tao nightclub, I didn't realize that Jason Strauss, one of the four owners there, anytime he was yelling at me on a Friday night because I dropped the ball on a bottle presentation or something like that, he was sharpening my sword. He was making me a little bit better because I dropped the ball. I missed a detail. So I learned from Jason to be detail oriented, make every single person that you come in contact with feel important. That is what you are there for, but don't just make them feel that way. Genuinely care, and they'll reciprocate that. When I got to the Palms, I took that same mentality and I applied that and that same energy. And that's what Kai gravitated toward, Exodus. And that's why he was like, all right, I see you're good here. I think I can make you a little bit better because you're not going to screw up my sets all night long. So let me go ahead and you're willing to learn. I'm going to show you how to do this. And you'll notice when I told that story, at the end of every single night, I would go back and though I might be a little buzzed or super excited, you'll notice I told that story. And every single night I went back and I was like, hey, how did I do? Because I cared. And by the time I got to Hakkasan, I was able to take what I learned from Jason. I was able to take what I learned from Kai, and I was able to apply that to Hakkasan. And then I got there and I realized everything that got me to that number one nightclub wasn't going to get me any further. And I had to take a step back. I had to be humble and sit down. And I had to learn like, oh, there's these other aspects. I had no idea. There's a lot of moving parts here. I don't know the answer to everything, but I'm going to keep on pushing through and I'm going to find out. So there's a lot of teachers there. I learned from cocktail waitresses there. I learned from managers there. I learned what to do as well as what not to do. And by the time I ended up working with DJ Stellar, I was able to apply everything I had learned all those previous years. And I was able to apply that to every single interaction I had. So some of the same people that I'd been like meeting along these years, these same DJs, Aokis, the Calvins, the Skrillex, they've all seen me grow up and grow into this role. But I've applied all these lessons they've learned from me. And I was never one to shy away and say like, hey, I got this from you. I'm the first person to say like, hey, thank you. I appreciate it. What are you thanking me for? Oh, I would have never been here had you not taught me blank, 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 and blank. Even down to the 2.5 years that I was on tour with Stellar specifically, I learned as much as what to do as what not to do. You know what I'm saying? Like all those years were not the most productive, happy-go-lucky chasing rainbows. Like we were DJs and we were young. Like some of those nights were in a little too long. You know what I'm saying? And I'm able to look back on, my mistakes and I'm grab lessons from there too. There's a lot of lessons and mistakes if you want to look for them. And there's a lot of lessons with who you made those mistakes with if you want to look for them. So when I say I'm a forever student based on my previous experiences as well as the experiences I have yet to have, because every interaction I have, I realize I could go walk away learning from someone, or I have the opportunity to teach someone something else. So when I'm interacting with someone, I treat it as such. As we move in a fast-paced city, we move in a fast-paced world, so whenever you get to talk and interact with someone such as yourself, you got to take those moments and grab onto them because you never know where they're going to lead. Me and you were talking about tacos 2 weeks ago, and now we're sitting here rapping about a podcast. And I'm sure we'll have a conversation after this podcast wraps, you know? And it's because while me and you were talking, we were each learning. We were learning about each other, but we were learning about our past. It took me all of 30 minutes to find out that you were a teacher from Chicago. You dealt with kids that had Down syndrome. Like, you're an onion. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that was because that was genuine curiosity. And you get genuine curiosity from students and teachers.
I love it. I love that was deep, brother. That hit me right here, man. That hit me right here. I love it. So real quick, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up. This is the outlet to reality, the holdest podcast in Vegas and Chicago every Tuesday. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Ching! And y'all know, and y'all know where to find me. I'm on Spotify, YouTube, the outlet to reality, and Instagram. My Snapchat is Take One Pass It, TikTok at Yaakov 28, and MC Rob, B Rob. Where can my fans find you, my fam?
Yeah. You can find MCB Rob on Instagram at _the Alexander Project. And you can find me on Facebook. If you grandpas and boomers out there, it's just Bryan Robinson. If you forget that Instagram handle, just type in Bryan Robinson. You'll see my bright smiling face doing the thinker. On Decky, I'm your guy for motivation, inspiration, and energy all day and tomorrow.
I love it. Peace.
Salute.